Hey there, fellow travelers. Mark here with Walter's World, and today we're having a little lunchtime travel chat. And today there's a couple things I'd like to just kind of cover overall. Oh, sorry. You can hear me echoing back on myself. So there's a couple things I want to talk about while we go through today to give us a little bit more than just Q&A. We're going to talk about how to choose a destination that you want to go travel to. And then we're going to talk a bit about booking flights and some things you should be thinking about to give you an idea of what there. Because we really want to start helping people really start to travel plan for themselves. Because we want to have it so you have your own skills, so you can do your own planning. So yeah, you can watch our videos and get excited for destinations, but then you can plan your own trip. So that's some things we kind of want to talk about today. There's other things we'll talk about, of course, with your questions, but just want to let you know those are two kind of overall things I want to talk about. And I just want to say hi to some people that are on here early. We got Lee Bridges is on. Welcome, welcome. Francis, always a pleasure to have you here. Let's see. Lori Sims, good to see you as well. Stuart, I'm glad you're getting by with your din. Hope you're well. Lee Bridges lets us know that all the California National Forests and some of the state's parks are closed through September 17th due to fire damage, so no forest camping Labor Day weekend. Yeah, forest fires in Greece, California, Turkey. I mean, it's just been not good. New Orleans with the flooding and with Ida, it's just not a good thing. But I want to talk about. I think what you have to look at now is now that the travel season's behind us. I know there's things going on in the world that people aren't going to want to travel so much right now, but it's still something you can think about is where you're going to travel in the future, where you're going to plan to go. And so that's one of the things I'd like to do today. Just kind of give you some figure out some of the foundations of your trip. Basically look at, how do you choose a destination? Hey, Mark Finley, good to see you on here. Beanie Harrison, good to see you. Greets from Atlanta. Nice. Oh, love Atlanta. Oh, I'd love to go to Mary Mac's right now. Such good food. Oh, so good. Abu Bakar Siddiq, I'm doing well, my friend. Thank you. Bangladesh. Cool. Very cool. So I think one of the things you need to think about is when you're starting to plan where you're going to go. This is a question we get asked quite often. It's like, hey, Mark, where should we go on vacation? Where should we go? I'm like, what do you want to do? I mean, that's the thing is what you want to do will really dictate your destination, because if you don't know if you want to do museums, or if you want to do hiking, or if you want to do adventuring, I mean, it's kind of hard to pick a destination. And so one of the things you want to do is kind of look at, what do you want to do? Do you want to do a adventure travel vacation? Are we looking at kayaking or whitewater rafting? Are we looking at surfing or ecotourism? Well, then there's destinations that are really good for that. You've got places like California with all their nature they have out there. You have Ecuador, you have Costa Rica, you have Iceland. There, West Virginia, even, where you have a lot of options to do a lot of kind of outdoor things. And the adventure tourism, it could be maybe you're young, or you have some, teenage kids. They want a little bit more activity than the museum-based stuff. So there is that. So you might want to think about, are we want to focus more on adventure? Or maybe you do want to do the cultural travel. Like I see Mark Finley here is getting nervous about my Europe trip next year. Mark, don't even worry about it, man. No reason to get worried. It's 8 months away. But you want to think about it. Say, I want to go to Europe, or I want to go to China. I want to do a cultural travel. And cultural travel isn't just going to see the church and going to see the normal museum. There's more stuff you can do. Meeting locals, taking a language class, maybe taking a cooking class when you're there. Because that's one of the things is you're having more experience-based cultural trips these days. A lot more cultural experience kind of, tours. So you can learn how to make tortillas when you're in Costa Rica. You can learn how to make paella in Spain. You can learn how to make sushi when you're in Tokyo. There's a lot more kind of cultural things you can do than just going to the museums. But of course, the museums are pretty cool. And that's why when I tell people, if you're looking for cultural adventures, you're looking at France, Italy, Japan, China. If you go to places in Brazil, you can get a lot of culture too. There's a lot of different things you can kind of look around. And of course, you have relaxation travel. I mean, some people like to relax on vacation. I get more stressed out the more I try to relax. So I'm not really good for relaxation. But you're looking and say, hey, do you just want to have a beautiful mountain view? You just want to kind of stroll through some national parks. You just want to hit the beach. I mean, that's really going to influence your decisions as well. Because, hey, if all you want to do is, look, I just want to hit beach, relax, repeat. Yeah, you're hitting Turks and Caicos or Belize, right? And so, or you might want to do a party vacation. You're looking at Bali, Ibiza, Berlin. I mean, it really comes down to when you really want to think about it, hey, let's really focus. What do we want to get out of this trip? What do you want to do on this trip? And sometimes you want to kind of mix it up, but usually there's going to be something that's going to be more of a driving force. And so that's what I want you to kind of think about is what do you want to do on that vacation? That's going to help you out because, if you're going to go for, at winter break, Christmas break, usually it's like, we've been freezing cold. I want to just go to the beach and relax. It's been a stressful fall, winter, this Christmas season, all this. I just want to hit the beach and chill out. Okay, you're looking at a relaxation vacation. You're in the Caribbean, you're in Mexico, maybe you're going to Bali. So you think about that. All right. So I just want you to kind of have those ideas in your head when you're thinking about, where do I want to go? Because that will really influence. Because once you kind of figure out what you want to do, that helps you figure out where you want to go because that might eliminate places. Okay. Now, let's go through some of our questions we have up on here. Oh, Juliet's excited to go to Italy soon. Very nice. Very nice. Hey, Thomas in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm actually working on the Shocks of North Carolina right now. So I don't know if I'll have it out this weekend, but or next week, but it's coming. I got my Cheerwine pictures. I got to have these. So thank you, Mark Finley, for getting that to me. So we have that. Mache Tessier, always a pleasure on recess break. Very nice. Let's see. Oh, cool. Kristen Rice. Just want to let you know our exchange student got here a few days ago. Thanks for the previous tips. You're very welcome. And that's cool. There are still some exchange student programs going. I know our university, we had class space in my classes for exchange students, and some came and some didn't come. So it's a nice little mix. So I'm glad that some students are still getting the chance to have that cultural experience because I'm a very big proponent of study abroad. And if students can do it, I always say do it. And so it's cool that these things are still there because I have students that haven't been able to go. They're going to be seniors or they're seniors now. And they're like, well, I couldn't go, my junior year and that's a senior and it looks like I'm not going to be able to go. I'm not going to get to study abroad. So it gets kind of sad. Well, I'm glad to see that some people are getting to go. That's really cool. Let's see. Francis is going to Italy in 35 days. Awesome. Yeah. Amos Cyrus with a price to COVID test in JFK Airport. Yeah, you want to see what COVID tests are near you and the time frames. Because we've had a number of people who have done you have to have it, 42 or 48, 72 hours before. It wasn't getting there in time, so they had to pay like $300 to get the 1 hour test. So it can be quite frustrating and quite costly, especially if you got a family going. I mean, that can add up really, really quick. India's #1 coaster enthusiast. Ooh, that'd be fun. I'd like to go some roller coasters. Oh, Jane had a paddle wheel Mississippi River cruise in November, which has been canceled twice for COVID. Don't know if it'll be canceled again. Fingers crossed you'll be able to get on it. I know we had a trip to France that we were about 3 or 4 days away from it, and we had to cancel. Well, not cancel. We moved it back to early next year. So it's just getting postponed. But now I'm looking. I want to see how the numbers go, and our later in this year's trips abroad. How are they going to go? I mean, it's things were going good, and no, well, it is what it is. Let's see. Rally Creative Travel. Hey, good to have you, Blaine. Tom Shaner, you're the captain of dad jokes. Gotta love it. Let's see. I plan on going back to Paris. Yes, I will be back there hopefully early next year. Ooh, Michael is going to Colombia in 3 weeks. First trip since September 2019. Very nice. You have to let me know how it goes. We're looking at Colombia for a spring trip next year. Let's see. Jim, my wife and I were planning our delayed honeymoon for spring 2022 in Italy. Now we're thinking based on EU dropping the U.S. from the safe travel list. First world noise for sure, but still so bummed. Well, that's spring 2022. I don't know. I'm not going to say anything about it because I'm not going to say anything about it. But just that's a long time off. So you still have time. You can have everything set up, and then you can change it later. It's okay. Let's see. So Lee brings up a question. News frequently covers the worst case scenarios such as riots or floods without geographic context. What sources can you use to figure out whether a place is a real disaster okay for travel? So one thing you'll see is I will go to the CIA's website. I will go to the State Department's website and look what the actual, like level of danger is. Now, right now it's tough because with COVID, everything gets labeled level 3 or 4 or 5 or whatever, so it's hard to see like what's the real issues, because you'll see, places will be like, Belize has got really high crime rate, but they'll tell you actually Belize City is where the crime is. If you're not in Belize City, you'll be okay. So you got to do a little bit more research. Head to your local library and get a couple books on the destination you're going to go to, and they'll give you a good feel for it. I mean, let's be honest. Scared people watch TV because we're worried, and I remember, one of the reasons we went to Brazil in 2016 and filmed a bunch of videos because there's so much bad press on Brazil before the Rio Olympics that I'm like, look, yes, Rio has issues, but people get robbed everywhere in the world, and they're making it sound like every robbery was, nowhere else gets robbed, only in Brazil. I remember it was like, you're going to get robbed, you're going to get murdered, you're going to get the Zika virus is going to get you. Like it was just one after another after another. And we went down there and we filmed a bunch of videos saying, look, yeah, there's some issues, but you can enjoy Brazil. It's not just Rio. There's a lot there. Actually, we have a video on Ouro Preto from one of our other trips to Brazil that's going to be coming out here soon to show there's some really great places to go. So just know negativity will always be focused on. That's a marketing thing. Get people to stay and watch more. Let's see. Oh, wow. Moshe Tessier says, our church hosts an international student club. We host over 50 college graduate students for an ice cream Sunday to get together. That's nice. And for exchange students and study abroad people, it's sometimes hard to get to know like the real culture of an area because you're just in class, or you might just live in the dorm. And so you only have like dorm life. And if anyone went to college, dorm life isn't like real life. A real way to learn a lot. You learn the college culture, but then you use the country's culture. So when you do something like that, people can get to know locals and get to know what are some of the things that are out there, and would you ever find a tuna noodle casserole? Would you ever have a real barbecue? Like this is one of those things that we can do when we invite people to our homes when they're traveling or studying abroad. So that's nice. Tom Shaner, dad jokes. Who, me? Yeah, Tom. You know what I'm saying. Essential tip for traveling to Paris. Take me. That's right, Lee. Smart move. Oh, Scott is moving from London to Yorkshire next week, 20 minutes from New York. Very nice. So I am looking. I was going to be taking students on a study abroad in May of this coming year, but now everything's on hold. So I'm just pushing that trip back, and we will be in York with our students in 2023. I mean, I know it's kind of far off, but I actually was typing that up today, the whole proposal for it. So very nice. Oh, Travel Free 2019. Go to Cartagena next Wednesday. First time in Colombia and South America. Really excited. I love traveling in South America. I really feel bad. Our South America videos never really get watched because people, they watch Europe, they watch U.S. stuff, but South America is a really fantastic place to visit. I've lived in Brazil, I've lived in Argentina, and we've gone with the kids down there. It's really a really nice place to go. A lot of fun, a lot of cool things you can do. So Kevin says, when is a good time to book flights and hotels for Greece for a June 2022 trip? So usually with flights, some people say, 3 months before, 62 days before, whatever. I always say is check the prices right now and see if you feel comfortable with those prices. One thing, if you use like a kayak.com or a skyscanner.com, sometimes they'll say this is a good price for this time of year, or they'll give you like an average price for that time of the year. You can do that and check. Right now, with the Delta variant going around, people are not booking flights right now, so it could be bringing down prices in some places. So you could look at that. I know some people, what they'll do is they'll book, and then they see there's a big price drop, they'll just change their ticket, and then they'll get the refund back. It depends how you book. I think one thing is when we're looking at travel, like if you're going to go to Greece for June 2022, it might depend where you want to go. Because I know for us, flying directly to Greece from the U.S. is kind of expensive. So we'll fly to Italy and spend a few days and then use like an EasyJet to fly to Crete or Athens for, 50 euros instead of having to pay an extra 500 euros for the flight if it was a Delta or an American flight. So that could be something you want to look at, is other options for it. And I think one thing is I want to talk about booking tickets. And a lot of people, when they book tickets, they're like, oh, I'll just use multiple airlines. Like I'll fly British Airways to London and then I'll fly Ryanair to Poland. Well, the thing is you might be in different airports. And if you're using two completely different airlines, not a code share, but like two completely different tickets, let's say your British Airways flight gets delayed and you can't get to your Ryanair flight. Ryanair doesn't care that your other flight was messed up. That's on you, and you will have to buy new tickets, and that can add up quite quickly. So that's why sometimes I will usually do a code share ticket all the way. If we do one of these, fly with Delta to Italy and then go EasyJet, we'll stay in Italy for a few days in case there's any hiccups or anything like that. So good to think about. Oh, gotta go. Recess is over. Back to my 21 second graders. Have fun, Mache. Let's see. Stuart put Copenhagen trip extra 2 weeks out of September. Yeah, you should be fine when you're there. Copenhagen is a nice place. Got some really good food when you're there. Kristen, I do not know a good month or where to stay to see Death Valley. I'll be actually down in that area in October, I think. So I'll be exploring there. So I'll know more. I'll know more then. I don't know. I haven't done a ton of research yet for that trip, just because it's the beginning of the school year. My day job, I teach, and so finding free time last week and this week and the week before has been a little difficult. Hence why you've seen food videos popping up because they're very quick to put together. So, but the reception of our food videos, they don't really get watched very much. I'm thinking the food videos I have left from traveling the world, I think we might just put on Jocelyn's channel and keep all the food stuff over there and just have this be more just travel based. So let's see. Thank you, Scott Bradbury. Yeah, no, I'll be there. Actually, the plan is it's a 3-4 week class, and the idea is have the class be in like a week in York, a week in London, and then, or I don't know if we might do Bath instead, because the students I always like to give them like the weekends free. So like if we're in Bath, they can do London for the weekend, something like that. But then finish the class in Finland. So it'd be like, oh, you get Northern England, you get Southern England, and if you want to do a day trip or trips or whatever, and then go over there. So that's something I want to have. So I'll be there. So we'll have some fun. Let's see. Kevin. What was Kevin's? Yeah. Glad I could help, Kevin. Let's see. Oh, Michael. That's kind of cool. So Michael, he's bartender at an airport in Tampa. There's a few. I'll actually be meeting my dishwasher's son in Bogota for 4 days. He only speaks Spanish. I do not. Any advice? Should be interesting. Just remember, sí, yes, no, por favor, please, gracias, thank you. You'll be fine. I mean, that's one of the things is you'll recognize enough things. They'll show you around. I've been to enough places where I spoke nothing, they spoke nothing, I understood it. We just got along fine. The fact that you have a common denominator, like your dishwasher you work with, is just a nice little thing. So what I would do, I would look at some stuff about going to Bogota, like what you should see, what you should do. So you have an idea, so you can like, even if they don't understand, I would like, you can say, Catedral de San Fernando or whatever, the main cathedrals are called. So you can have some of the things there. Let's see, Lee Bridges. Opinion on a family travel conflict. It's minor. We all love each other. Oh, it's always bad when it starts with we all love each other. We have different packing styles. I'm only bring what you can carry. Sister-in-law is pack the kitchen sink. Yeah, I know that. Yeah, very similar situation. Look, don't help them carry their bags. That's on them. The problem is they take all the space up in the taxi. Then it's kind of BS. You're like, hey, you're making it difficult for us. That's one of the things that always got me. I'm like, when people overpack, it makes the other people have to help them. Or there's been a number of times I've helped people put their luggage up above on the train or the plane or whatever. And on the train, I might be getting off early. I'm like, I have no idea how you're going to get that down. Like you got 3 huge suitcases and you can't barely carry one. It's not really realistic. I think maybe, Lee, we should have an intervention for your sister-in-law. Be like, look, you're not going to wear 5 different pairs of shoes. Okay, you're not. Do you wear these things all the time? That's one thing you have to think. Do you use it in your normal day life? If you do not, you will not use it on your trip either. So, something to think about. Something to think about. So, Judy Horseman asks, do you have any? Sorry, I forgot. I can show these. My bad. Do you have any specific videos on practical budgeting tips? Spend at least 7 days in Sedona next August, but not sure if we can extend it to 10 days. Okay, so practical budgeting tips that I use. One, a lot of it has to deal with accommodation. Are you going to need a 5-star? Because Sedona, there's a range of stuff. If you're going to rent a car, you can stay a little farther out and save some cash that way and save enough money staying at a Hampton Inn versus not like the W. Yeah, there's not W there, but the accommodation choice can go a long way to save you quite a bit of money. I know for us, we usually choose like a middle price hotel, maybe a little bit lower, because we know we're just going there to sleep. It's not a place we're going to stay and make memories. It's a place we go and crash at night and then go out again. And if you're not planning to spend a lot of time in the hotel, you might look at more affordable options. Safe options. I'm not saying going like crappy hotels, but that's one thing. Another thing you look at is with your food budget. Decide how you're going to eat. That's why the free breakfast in a lot of hotels in the U.S. just really pay for themselves. Because if it's 2 of you, you're probably saving yourself anywhere from $10, $15 at a McDonald's breakfast to $30, $40 at a breakfast bar kind of thing. So that adds up over time. If you think of it, let's say it averages out to $20 for breakfast. That's $200 over 10 days you've saved. That's another night in a hotel. Okay. Also, what we'll do is we might only have like one kind of fancy tourist meal a day, and then we'll do something cheaper the other times of the day. Because one of the things a lot of people don't realize is when you are factoring in your budget for traveling, when you factor in your food budget, a lot of times you don't really think that, oh, well, I eat anyway. Yeah, you eat anyway. You go to the grocery store and buy food anyway. You're already spending that kind of money to exist at home. So it's not like you're not used to spending that kind of money. So it's not a new expense so much in your budget. It might be an expanded expense because now you're eating out more. You're trying maybe more expensive restaurants. But what we'll do is sometimes if there's like a food we really want to have, we'll shoot for a lunch kind of thing because sometimes there's specials. And if I see there's not really specials, you know what? Why don't we do intermezzo? You have brunch, but between breakfast and lunch, but between lunch and dinner, you do intermezzo. You go eat it. You have a late lunch, 3 or 4 o'clock, and then you can have the food you want, and it kind of spreads it out. So you have that big hotel breakfast, and have that one meal out, and if there's 2 of you, $50, $60, $70 versus hundreds. It doubling that, it can make a really big difference. Let's see. Sorry. It's jumping around on me now. Lee Bridges pointed out, good ideas, thanks. Sister-in-law is a fashionista, so always wants to wear different outfits and accessories. Fine for home, tough on the road. Yeah, Lee, I also wonder if this is something I think everyone needs to realize. You don't have to travel with people. I have friends that are friends of mine that, I will not travel with them to certain countries. I have some friends I would never travel with, but they're still my friends. I have family members I would never travel with, or there's certain places I would travel with them. That's another thing to consider, Lee, is maybe looking at destinations, because I'll have people like, oh, we want to travel with you. I'm like, that's nice. I would love to travel with you too, but no. Because there's a lot of people like, oh, we want to go to Greece with you because of Jocelyn, or we want to go to Germany because I'm like, okay, but I'm not, you have to be like, look, this is your vacation. I mean, and I know family time is important. We always love traveling with our family, but I know, for example, if I'm going to be going to Portugal, I know with all the people we have there and all the friends we have to see, it's not a good destination to go with my parents now because they want to go see the sights, and like I want to go hang out with my buddy João and my buddy Miguel. And so it's like, look, we gotta make some decisions. And sometimes what we'll do is actually plan. I'm like, look, this is our family trip we'll do this year with you. I mean, we travel a lot, so we have I can not lose vacation destinations because I only have one, but it can be something. Whereas you'll see is sometimes family members will get into we should do a big family trip together somewhere. And you're like, maybe your cousins. You're like, I love my cousins. I mean, it's not my cousins, but I'm just saying, yeah, I mean, I love my cousins, but this example isn't about my cousins. But if you look at it and we should do a big family trip together, you're like, maybe we can, and maybe I do part of it. Because sometimes what you don't realize is you don't have to be the entire time with your family. You can actually hey, we'll go to Italy and we'll hang out together. We'll do Rome and Venice together, and then we'll do our own thing. And you do your own thing, and you kind of set it this way: we have 5 days together. And maybe you have a 10-day vacation, so you have 5 days on your own. We travel with our friend the Konacheks. You've seen Jeff on a number of videos, and we travel with him. And sometimes what we'll do is hey, we'll travel together for a week, and then hey, you guys are going to go here, we're going to go here, and then we separate for a few days, and then we meet back together someplace else. So we have a break. So something to kind of think about. Let's see. Scott, all people travel to England. I come from London, but I promise you the North is the best. York, Manchester, Newcastle, you have a great time. Yeah, I mean, York's my favorite city to visit in England. I cannot deny you that, my friend. Worst plane experience? When we dropped about 4,000 meters, I thought we were going to die. And then we dropped another 1,000 meters. And all at that time, this drunk guy and his girlfriend were yelling at the flight attendants who were strapped out, "Where's my beer? This is an all-inclusive. I get to drink the entire time." I mean, it was bad. That was at Christmas in 1999. That was not fun. I was flying back from the Canary Islands to Germany. Not enjoyable. Grace asks, is it worth to go to the Loire Valley at Christmas time? Yes, it is. The Loire Valley, this is one of those things. There's some places that are better at different times of the year, and there's some places that are good any time of the year. The Loire Valley, when you're going to see the chateaus, what's cool is if it's raining, if it's snowing, if it's beautiful out, the architecture is still gorgeous. So you can go enjoy it. Definitely look at and what's happened. A lot of the chateaus will be then done up for Christmas, so there'll be a little bit more pizzazz inside. So I actually like doing that. Arlen, did you fly to Branson or did you drive? We drove. We were staying in Arkansas, and then we went up to Branson. I have never flown into Branson. I've only driven through, or I haven't driven there. So there's that. Yes, Johnny, Hampton Inn is very pocket friendly. Yeah, that's kind of been our go-to for a number of years when we're doing road trips in the U.S. Let's see. Lori Sims took my younger son on his first international trip and allowed plenty of free time for us to spend time away from each other, so much more relaxed. Yes. And that's for all age groups. That is, if I'm traveling with my parents or we're traveling with the grandparent or we're traveling with the kids, we make sure everybody's got a little time to do their own thing. Okay. And sometimes doing their own thing is, the kids just, they need a Netflix day. Like, look, we've been traveling, because we'll go sometimes for 7 or 8 weeks straight. And sometimes the kids we're like, they're going to be done. I'm just planning, this Thursday, tomorrow. Boys, tell me what you want to eat. I will go get it for you. You guys just lay around the house, do whatever you want. And we give them a day of doing nothing. So John says, I swear I saw you in Miami once eating at a Latin restaurant. You may have. If it was in May of this year, I was in Miami. Brickle. Nice. Let's see. Oh, is Rob from TripHacks DC on here? Javier, I don't know how you want to pronounce it. If not for the Civil War, do you think you'd have been to Syria by now? Yeah, I mean, the whole Middle East we would have done a lot sooner. But with the Civil War, I do not take any chances with my kids. Like, You will not see me in Iraq. You will not see me in Afghanistan. You will not see me in Iran. You only see me, in certain parts of Ukraine because there's stuff going on. I'm not taking a chance on it. I take enough chances already. So Kieran, about to head to Budapest in 2 weeks. What cool stuff is there to do for a young solo traveler? I have about 12 videos on Budapest that will give you a lot. There's the don'ts of Budapest, the mistakes people make at Budapest, what to eat when you're in Hungary. That was just out last week. What to know before you go to Hungary. Just watch the videos. There's plenty of stuff that I'll remember because I filmed them a bit ago. So I don't have the stuff right off the top of my head. Okay, Costa's World of Music Memories. What is more economical, touring with a guide or doing it on your own? Doing it on your own can be more economical if you're looking at financial stuff. But in terms of value, what I tell people is if there's something you really love, like if there's like you're a huge fan of Egypt and you really want to know about the pyramids, I wouldn't take a guided tour. I would get a personal guide, and then they only answer your questions, right? And they give you more into like stuff you want to know. And I mean, because whenever you take a guided tour with a lot of people, I mean, yeah, you'll get people asking questions that can give you questions you hadn't thought of. But they have the guided tour has to have lowest common denominator. They got to stop at the market to make some money and some kickbacks. And if it's something you really want to do, something you really love, get your own guide to do it because you'll get so much more out of it. So the value you get out of that guide is great. But economically, no, it's always cheaper to do it yourself. But not always, but a lot of times it's cheaper to do it yourself, but it doesn't mean it brings you the most value. So something to think about. Ryan Elms. Hey, Mark, I've been your fan for videos since, well, it feels like forever. Well, I appreciate it, Ryan. Thank you very much. John's thinking of going to Edinburgh after Paris. Yeah, good choice, good choice. Francis wants to remind you all to smash that like button. We'd really appreciate it. Here, do it together. 3, 2, 1. Hit that like button. There you go. I really appreciate it. Rob from Trick Apps DC. If you're going to be in DC area, do give him a call. Rob, I will not be in DC this fall. The people we're going to the game with, they're going to the game in Wisconsin, so I'm going to Wisconsin for a game. But I have it down to go for a game in the following fall, so we have something there. But Rob says, touring without a guide is like eating peanut butter jelly on vacation instead of going to restaurants. They're both food, but one is the experience you'll remember, hopefully. Exactly. They'll bring more out of the experience. And that's the thing is, I always recommend hiring a real guide, like Rob's a real guide, not just the free walking tour stuff, because remember, you get what you pay for. Now, if you take a free walking tour, please tip the person. But I stopped doing the free walking tours years ago because basically it was a college student that wasn't from that city that had read like the Rough Guide and the Rick Steves, and they were just repeating it to you. And they couldn't answer much more in depth. Whereas a travel guide will have like a professional guide. In some places, they have to take trainings for it. They have to get certified in it, so they know a lot more. Ecuador is a great example. You get a guide there. They're like getting certificates in geology and herbal medicine to take you on these tours so you can be certified and knowing a lot. So something to kind of think about. Ryan DeBay, what should I do on a Maine vacation in the fall? Leaf peeping. You're watching the leaves change. You're taking drives. You're going to little villages. It's beautiful. The weekends, I'll tell you, the traffic is horrible. But if you're there during the week, you can really see a lot without all the traffic. Well, there'll be some traffic, but not as much. Awesome. Raquel, hi, Mark. Hello. Thanks for your videos. You're very welcome. My fiance and I are planning to go to Rome and Palermo, Sicily in October for our honeymoon. Looking forward to going to Italy for the first time. Oh, you'll love it. You two lovebirds together there. It will be wonderful. That'll be awesome. I'm so happy for you. Now, John says the free tours in San Francisco are good. Yeah, I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just saying, for me, I'm also a professional, traveler. So for me, when I'm going to have a guide, I want to have like a guide. Sometimes there are some good ones for the free walking tours, but I'm just telling you, there's something to think about. So Lori, I go with a scheduled guy that is licensed, usually one in the morning and an evening food tour. Yeah, and that's one of the things you can look at is I've had tours where I've signed up, and one of my favorite ones is I took students to the Vatican and we got a guide, and I got a guide hired for us. And the best part is the students are like, well, why should we listen to you? And on all of the stands, around the Vatican, they sell like the tour guide books and the what to see and what to know about like the sites and the statues and the artwork. And he goes, I'll show you why. He grabs like one of the books that's like in every single one of the stalls, turns it around. It's him. He's the one that had the book. They're like, yeah, he knows his stuff. So that's pretty fun. Skittles Eye. Hey, Mark, our Powerline crews are going to sleep in tents for weeks in New Orleans. Wish us luck. Good luck. I know it's going to be tough, especially with the triple degree weather. Y'all stay safe, stay hydrated, and get that power back on. Appreciate what you're doing. So, James, Vienna or Budapest, which do you prefer? I prefer Vienna, though I have to be honest. I did study abroad there. I actually am a visiting lecturer at the Wirtschaftsuniversität Wien, one of the universities in Vienna. I've taught there three times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I've taught there 4 times, 4 summers. So slight bit of preferential treatment there. Budapest is cool. I just think Vienna has more cultural things to see. Budapest is much more of a party place. I think the food variety, both places have good food, but I think the variety of food in Vienna is better for what you want, because it was the Habsburg Empire, the Holy Roman Emperor was there, and so you had Italian influence, you had the Hungarian food, you had the Austrian food, you had the Germanic food, you had the Czech food, you had the Slovak food, you had all this stuff there, so you can eat really, really well when you're there. Thomas, hey Mark, have you spent much time in Guadalajara? Debating a trip to that area of Mexico or Ecuador earlier next year. So I've been to Guadalajara, but it's been many years ago. So I don't know if my recommendations are going to be very good for now. But overall, I would probably do Ecuador early next year over Guadalajara. That would be my just gut feeling for that. Oh, Stephanie Taylor, thank you very much for the super chat. That is really nice of you. Thank you. Thanks for the midweek chat and giving me a distraction for an hour. I'm glad I could. I know how you all are, but I am just running on fumes with the school year starting. And for those who don't know, I'm a college professor for my day job. So we're back in person. I've got 200-300 person classes, and my students. It's so great to be back with my students again. But you can see with the students that, they've been away. I teach a class now that's got a lot of sophomores in it. So they spent their freshman year home, online. And now they're kind of freshmen again, because I've never been on campus. I know where stuff is. And so it's really interesting because I've never had not this young of students, but this not knowing campus very well. So it's a new challenge to find ways to connect with them, because it is a very different world now than it was 2 years ago when we were teaching in person. So if you see any of your teachers out there that are friends, wish them luck. If you have any cousins, if you have any nieces, nephews, children, give them a little pep talk, because it's tough getting back out there and figuring things out. So, yeah. Lee Bridges, Switzerland is one of my favorite places on the planet. Not that you asked. If you love the outdoors, you won't want to leave. Yeah, even if you just take the train through Switzerland, it's gorgeous. We're scheduled to be there at the beginning of next year and next summer. Fingers crossed. So I'll be able to get some stuff for us. Yes, Stephanie, I'm sorry. It's been crazy for work. Ooh. Son of Thomas Moore, going to LA next week. Mexico City the following week. Just have to test negative before returning to the U.S. Very cool. I will be in LA later next month. It's coming up. I have to check my schedule, but I'll be in LA soon. Mexico City is actually on my list for a early 2022 family weekend getaway. So hopefully we'll go there. Javier, Xavier, let me know which one I'm supposed to say. Is Tunisia on your radar? I've been to Tunisia. It was before I did Walter's World, though, and I actually really enjoyed it. The people were super friendly. The food was fantastic. They have incredible sites there. If you go to El Jem, it's a coliseum, but you can actually walk into it. It's the ruins that are there are just really, really cool. Let's see. Oh, Shakes' wife is currently in Switzerland. Spent 3 days in Basel. Last 2 days in Lucerne. Climbed Mount Titus today. I'm like trying to think of what spell check that would have been. Yeah, no, Switzerland is gorgeous. It is gorgeous. James likes Washington State. It is quite nice. Actually, a lot of people try to debate, do I go to Seattle or Vancouver? I actually like Seattle better than Vancouver. So that's one of the things I do. Let's see. Here's one. Do you find most of your students prefer in-person or online? It depends on the student. I think they prefer in-person. I think in-person is a much better educational experience for them because online, I mean, let's be honest. Online, unless the class is designed to be taught online, not like this where it's like I'm a talking head next to some slides. No, you need to have it set up so it's taught that way. I think that students, my exams I had last year, they were all open book. How much are students studying? Like I could see the numbers in the review videos, how much it was less than usual for exams. And guess what? Though they had the book with them, the grades were lower. Grades were lower when they had online education and they had that. I'm not saying that I'm bad. Maybe I'm a bad teacher online. I don't think so. But I think what happens is people don't seem to take it as seriously. From the students that I've seen that want it online, it's more like they want the exams online. And you know why that is. So something to think about. So Tim, I cannot remember the Riyadh. We've had a lot of questions about the Riyadh. We stayed at there and it was fantastic. But for the life of me, since we recently have packed up our house and moved and I have no idea where my notes are. So they could be in a storage unit. They could have been left on a bus or a boat or a truck. So I don't have my stuff. And you're not the only person that has asked me a number of times. So I apologize. Brad. Hey, Mark. Love your channel. Thank you very much, Brad. I appreciate it. We'll be in Munich next summer. Would you recommend a day trip to Nuremberg or Salzburg? Only have enough time for one day trip. I would do Salzburg. I'm actually going back to Munich. Well, supposed to go back to Munich next summer of 2022, and I'm actually going to do. Those are the 2 day trips I'm going to be doing from Munich as my base. But I would do Salzburg first. The Bayern ticket, the local train ticket pass, that goes to Salzburg. You can just get that, and that will cover, I think, up to 5 people. And you can do that. You can go there, spend the day, and come back on that same ticket. So something to get at. You can just get at the kiosk when you're at the train station in Munich. But honestly, Nuremberg is great. I'm not going to diss Nuremberg, but Salzburg is just a better choice if you only can go to one. And then you get another country. So works well. Let's see. Judy Horstman. Thank you, Mark, and you, Jocelyn, are the absolute very best at trying to answer as many of the biggest variety of questions. I try. We try. And the thing is, I have like notes about stuff I want to talk about. I've printed up and all kinds of stuff. But if I can just answer these questions, I'll do that. And then I'll get into my little other spiel. Because I want to talk about legacy carriers versus low-cost carriers when it comes to planes, because people are they're kind of merging and getting closer and closer. But there's some things you should know that kind of differentiates them. Let's see. Ooh, Valerie's going to Zurich this Thanksgiving. What should I do there? So you have it's Bahnhofstrasse. That's the main shopping street where you just you window shop when you're there. I don't know, Valerie. You may be floating in money. I don't know, but that's where all the high end shops are. And I remember walking through there when I was a PhD student. I had no money, but I'm this is pretty cool. There's some cool stuff. There's some churches you can see. What I like is if you go to Lake Zurich, just walk towards it. You see the lake there, and there's a couple I guess you'd say restaurants/bars, mostly restaurants that are on the lake. And I'm going to guess in January or for Thanksgiving, there could be some snow already. I don't know. I wouldn't bet on it, but there could be. And you just have this amazing view when you're there. There's also a couple of really good museums too. So, and if you want to do a day, you want to go down at Lucerne would be a good nearby place to go to. Let's see. Derek. Hi, Derek. Hi, Mark. By the way, you're right about York. Very nice. Not been there for years. The river had burst its banks when we were there. River also, I think, yeah, beautiful place. History there was phenomenal. Derek, were you there February of 2020? Because I was supposed to be there February 2020, and all that flooding happened, and there was that. There was COVID coming, and I was getting worried, so I ended up canceling that trip, which would have been my last international trip before everything went crazy. But yeah, no, it can't beat York. It's so nice. So Jim brings up a very topical thing. The U.S. has been removed from the EU's safe list for non-essential travel because its daily infection rate is so high. What impact is this having on Americans trying to visit Europe at this time? So, first off, the European Union's thing is a recommendation. The individual member states can decide if they want to take Americans off their list of people that are welcome. Now, you will see Americans come off some lists and you will be persona non grata coming in, or you just might have to quarantine for 2 weeks or prove you're vaccinated. Because what some countries might do is just keep it how it is. You got to prove you're vaccinated and have a negative COVID test or quarantine. They'll have something there. So some places you'll still be able to go. Some places never stop taking people. So it's something to think about. Wait, there's one up here. It was like from R. James. What is your favorite of the 5 Scandinavian capital cities? I think Stockholm is probably your best one to go to. Then Copenhagen would be number 2. In terms of eating, sites, museums, they're all expensive, but like you can get like Norway is just Oslo's just beyond expensive. So that's why it gets a lot of points knocked down for me. Let's see. John wants to know, Mark, what are your favorite cities in the UK and Ireland? In the UK, I love Edinburgh. Isle of Skye. Plockton there is nice. Right off the outside the Isle of Skye. York, Bath. Any nature thing in Wales is just awesome. I also got to like London. I usually tell people they got to choose like for a day trip from London. I usually tell them to go to Cambridge. I like going there. So any places you would visit yourself but wouldn't take your family? Not really, because I wouldn't want to put myself at risk. And if I wouldn't put myself at risk, I wouldn't put my family at risk. And I would take my family. Like we go to places that people traditionally don't go, like El Salvador or Nicaragua or whatever. I don't have too many problems with that. So if it's like if it was a place like I wouldn't want my family to go, I wouldn't want myself to go. I wouldn't want my friends to go. So yes, I have been to Manchester. I had a number of friends that studied abroad there back in the day, and I had friends that lived there. So I have been to Manchester. It has been a number of years. On that trip from February 2020 that got canceled with York, Manchester, Liverpool, and what was the other place? There's New York, Manchester, Liverpool. There's one other not London place we're going to go. I can't think off the top of my head. That was part of the trip. Let's see. Yes, Lee, the Vegas. Yeah, I've been Vegas plenty of times, going back for more. Let's see. Julia saying for Italy, you have to have the proof of vaccination, negative COVID test within 72 hours before you leave, and you have to fill out a travel locator form. See, so still pretty straightforward. Lee Bridges in Hollywood, ignore any tour guides who say they can take you to meet celebrities. They are lying. The way to meet celebrities is to email their agents and ask if they're around for meet and greets. Well, that's kind of cool. So let's see. I'm going to move over to our talk about airlines here in a sec. Mark Finley was in New York, 6 days there, and only one place asked for the COVID card, though they're supposed to ask. I've heard the same thing. People in France, it's like hit and miss when people ask. So let's see. Yeah, then other people had other experiences. So let's see. Some other stuff I want to talk about. Let's go. Actually, I think another thing that would be good for us to talk about, maybe not the flight stuff yet, but going back to choosing your destination, I think weather. It's not just weather, but there's a lot of when you're going to travel can really have a big impact on your flights. There's the northern versus southern hemisphere. I mean, if you want to do the beaches of Brazil, you don't go in July. You go in January, you go in February because they have the flip seasons. But the thing is, it's not just the flip seasons in South America. Because if you're in the Caribbean and the tropics and stuff, it's rainy season, dry season. In some places, they'll call the rainy season will be the winter, and the dry season will be the summer. So sometimes it's important to know because as much as I love Costa Rica, I am not going to Costa Rica in October because that is the rainy season, and even the guides there are like, dude, don't even bother coming. It's not worth coming at this time. So something to think about. I mean, hurricane season right now, you don't do the Caribbean in the fall. You can do Aruba because Aruba is like out of the hurricane path. It's so far south. But if you're going to be flying that way, you might fly over hurricanes. So it's going to get a little scary. So something to think about. But also with rainy season, you also want to think about monsoon season. If you're looking at Southeast Asia or India or Philippines, when it's monsoon season, there's just these torrential downpours. Yes, you can get super cheap tickets to go there, but the reason is no one wants to be there. No one wants to go there at that time. I've seen a lot of vloggers over the years who will get those cheap tickets and go to a place like, oh, this sucks. I'm like, well, yeah, you went during monsoon season to the Philippines. It's not a good. That's not a good idea. So you want to kind of think about that, and also in terms of timing. Sometimes if you're looking to go for a festival, if you want to go to Mardi Gras in New Orleans or Oktoberfest in Germany or see the cherry blossoms in DC or Japan, you got to book ahead for that. Not just a few weeks, like a year in advance or more, depending on when you're going to go to really get things put together. So I really want you to experience these things because you really want to, but really think about it. That's why, travel planning isn't always good to do it's not always good to not do any travel planning because it's great to spontaneous travel. We do that a lot, but sometimes I know that, look, we're going to be getting to Germany for the Christmas markets, and I want to go to some of these small towns that have really cool Christmas markets like Quedlinburg in Germany. It's got great Christmas markets. But on the weekends, they open up the courtyards of these buildings, and like tons of German tourists come. So it's hard to get a place to stay. So I got to book that way in advance. Okay, so hotels sometimes will let you book up to 2 years in advance. Some don't, some do. But if it's for like Oktoberfest, yeah, you want to book out as far ahead as you can so you have that guaranteed spot. Okay. Now, another thing you want to look at in terms of your seasons is also high season, low season, and shoulder season. The high season for travel for most places in the world, you have the summer, that June, July, well, July and August especially, but June, July, August. And then you have, Christmas time, Christmas to New Year's is another high season. So you're not going to get discounted price. That's why you can literally see triple the price to go someplace in July versus going in September, into September. And so that's why I tell people, it's like, look, if you don't have kids if you don't have to worry about kids in school, go on vacation the end of September. Go in April or early May because usually the prices are like you get a lot of the services. You have the nice weather in the northern hemisphere, but you don't have all the kids out of school. You don't have the family traveling. So you have more space, you get a little better service, you get a little more options out there, a little less crowded. So that's something you can look at. Now, it's not going to be the lowest price. Like if you go in end of January anywhere, no one's really traveling a lot of places in the northern hemisphere. That's why you get the $400 flights to Europe, in end of January. So something to think about. Let's see. A few questions have gone by while I was chatting away. Francis, yeah, I'm not leaving JFK on my 7-hour layover, too risky. I agree, Francis, but I would pay the money to get access to the lounge because it'll probably be, I don't know who you're flying with, anywhere from like 30 to 50, $60, but you get all the food there. It's per person is the thing. But if it's just you, and it pays for itself for the comfort and the food and the drinks and not having to deal with everybody around. So, because JFK can be quite the headache. So, yes, even travel and transport is 100% correct. There are so many amazing cities in the UK that get overlooked because everyone is focused on London and various countryside spots. I agree. That's what I always recommend. If you rent a car and explore England or just all over the UK, it's fantastic. Uh, James, any tips for nervous flyers? I'm guessing you don't. If you're flying, if you ever did, due to the frequency you fly. Oh no, Jocelyn, me, Caleb, we all have a little bit of fear of flying occasionally. Alcohol helps. Honestly, I mean, traveling is the safest way to fly. Just know those pilots and those flight attendants, they wouldn't be getting on that plane if it wasn't safe. All right. I know for some people it can be like paralyzing fear. If you're paralyzed by fear of flying, you might want to talk to your doctor. They might be able to get you some medicine to help you relax. Sometimes if it's the stuff that really knocks you out, you might want to let the flight attendant know. It's like, look, I get super nervous flying. I'm going to have my pill and then I'll be out. And they know because there's a lot of people that go zonk out. But do be careful with that because a lot of people, not a lot, but some people, when you see like that guy stripped naked on the plane and it's because they took their whatever medicine and they were drinking and then they just black out. You got to be careful with it. Okay. So, but talk to your doctor. They might be able to help you. Let's see. Oops. Hey, gals. I see the gallivanting gals. Sorry, the questions are coming now. Xavier, I'm just drinking ice water. It's noon on a Wednesday. I got to work tomorrow. Hey, Iron Hat in Germany. Wie geht's dir? Okay, so Justin has a question. First time traveling abroad, do I have to do anything at the connection airport if it's in a different country than the final destination? So most of the time you will stay in that terminal. So you'll be flying into that terminal and then you might have to go someplace else. It depends because Justin, if you're flying in from the US to let's say England, so you'll go through customs in England, but then if you're going to fly on to Germany, that's going into a Schengen country, which is a different like visa kind of thing, or entry customs agreement, and then you'll have to go through, get another passport stamp saying you're leaving. It could be a transit thing. I mean, it can be quite. Do me a favor. Find me on Facebook. Just look up Walter's World. Don't look Mark Walters because he does. I don't get those when you write me there. Look up Facebook.com/Walters World and send me a direct message and tell me where you're going to be going, and I can give you a bit of a better kind of step-by-step process to help you out. What's the Byrock? Is there a credit card you recommend for use for travel points rewards? It really depends how much you travel. Some people love their Chase Rewards Sapphire card. Some people love, my parents use their Sam's Club card because it gets like 5% cash back. And this is a video I'm putting together, and we're going to talk about some of them. Because when it comes to travel points, it really depends how you travel. Like I fly with Delta all the time. So for me, it's worthwhile to have the Delta American Express because I get the upgrades, I get my free, bags, that's worthwhile for me. But if you don't travel that much and it's not really going to pay off for you, it might be better for you to have, a cash back card that gives you points for any airlines. Okay, so you kind of have to balance what you're going to do, and I always tell people, it's like, look, there's no point in me getting the British Airways card because there's no British Airways flights from where I live. So you want to get something that's nearby, that has places that you're going to use. Okay. Yeah, Francis, alcohol's going to knock me out. Yeah, John, their turbulence is predicting there's actually turbulence forecast. Yeah, I will look up some of those. The times that you're going to have turbulence that's guaranteed, if you're ever flying over a big body of water, not a river, but like if you're coming over the ocean and you're hitting land, or you're coming from the land hitting the ocean, there's usually bumps there. If you're starting to go over mountains or coming out of mountains, there's usually some turbulence there. So just kind of expect those. Or yes, more mojitos and wine can help out. Yeah, John makes a good point. You got to fly a lot to make that lounge access worth it. Yep, it'll depend on the airline. And this is a good one. Trip hacks DC. Rob makes a good point. Credit card points influencers get paid money for each sign up they refer and often oversell the benefits. This is one of the things. This is why I've not done the credit card video and all that stuff, because literally you get people to sign up. You get 10,000 miles per person signed up, or you might get $200 for signing up. There's different things people get for getting people to sign up. So if I can make the American, MasterCard sound, American Airlines MasterCard sound like the greatest thing ever, because it gives better payouts. I mean, you have to read those things with a grain of salt. I actually will go through multiple sites to see what people compare. That's why, Consumer Reports kind of stuff are usually nice because they don't have an angle, So I know, like for me, one of the reasons why I don't have the video yet, because I have the United Visa card for United Airlines. I have the Delta American Express card. So I'm going to get myself the American MasterCard and then probably another, the Chase Sapphire, just so I can use them and see how they work and if it's worthwhile. And then I can compare. And of course, I'll have links to all of them. And if you sign up, great, I get more points. If you don't, no big deal. But I will make sure it's like, look, this is what I use. And I'm just going to keep using my Amex one because I fly with Delta all the time. So it's something we really want to think about. Let's see. Let me see. So Francis asks, is there another option to a yearly pay monthly Skylines option for Delta? I really don't want to pay the price they're telling me. You can just do it individually. If you're flying with Delta, take your ticket in with you and your ID and your Delta number. You got to be a Delta member, like Mileage Plus, not Mileage Plus. It's the Sky Miles team. Sky Miles. Go in. You can get a single day pass. You just pay like $50 for it. So that can help you out. Yeah, Stuart makes a good point. I think the lounge is cheaper for me. Food and drink cost, airport for a 3-hour plus wait. For me, if I'm going to have 5 hours, my cutoff is 5 for sure. I'm going to the lounge because let's say it's $50 to get into the lounge. Okay, how much is a beer at a bar in the airport? $10, $15. You got 2 drinks, ding, maybe $30 there with tax and tip. You get a snack, boom, there's $50. 2 beers and a snack, you might be dropping lunch. There you get the food, you get the drinks, all that stuff's included. Just remember, it's certain alcohol is included. You want to make sure you get the free beer, not the pay extra beer. Let's see. Amen. Travel and transfer. Now you've done some videos on the Shetlands, so you've got plans for the Orkneys. I do not have plans for the Orkneys anytime soon. With our travel plans, how the COVID and the pandemic have really destroyed all of our international travel plans right now. When we are getting to travel back more, I can tell you, actually, I've been working on it. I can tell you it's not there. The countries we've been looking at for the next couple of years: multiple Caribbean islands. Ecuador, France, Canada, Colombia, Netherlands, Germany, Switzerland, Austria, Italy, Israel, Jordan, Greece, Mexico, Thailand, Cambodia, Laos, Singapore, Spain, Andorra, England, Ethiopia, Denmark, Norway, Sweden, Finland, United Arab Emirates, Qatar, Scotland. So those are some of the places I think we're probably leaning towards, because now that we're getting things in order, we're figuring out our time frames. Those are going to be some of the places we're going to be checking out. Valerie, what countries in Europe are kid-friendly? The more you go south, the more they love kids. That's just the way it is. That's cool. The Gallivanting Gals will be in Orkney Islands in October, so you can go follow them. They'll have videos on that. Also, you'll see the Gallivanting Gals on a video on Walter's World here next month, and you'll see us on a video. You'll see me on a video with them in September, and we have a fun video talking about stuff. So check that out. So Toby, Mike, I really enjoy watching your videos because they're so educational. Once the pandemic's over, will you post more European travel videos? So I still have been posting videos every Wednesday and Saturday for 7 straight years, and then we've been doing videos even longer than that. So I never stopped putting up videos. I have not done as many European videos right now because people aren't really looking to go to Europe. Like I'll tell you, I might have a few European videos that come out this fall, but not a lot. I'm saving those probably for December, January, when people are starting about international travel again. Once they get through the holidays, you see a really big tick up in people planning for European trips. So this fall, you're going to see a lot more like USA stuff and some South America, Latin American things, because and Caribbean, because those were a lot of the people are actually traveling to still. So. Tulum or Cabo, what do you like more? Well, Tulum is, it's a site. Cabo is a party destination. So if you say Tulum, you're more likely you're going to Riviera Maya. Cabo, you're going to drink. So, James, Rwanda is fantastic, super safe. Yes, the atrocity in the mid 90s, 27 years ago, when it was horrible. I'm not going to deny that. We actually have tons of videos on Rwanda. Actually, if you look it up, we have the most videos on travel in Rwanda that are out there on YouTube. So we would go there like that, right back there. Probably one of our favorite places to go in the world. Miss Red, you just missed me go through 31 countries we're going to be going to over the next future. So lots of travel plans. Lots of travel plans. Don't you worry. Eric Swart, hello, my friend. Good to see you, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Oh, it's 1 o'clock. Okay, so I have a meeting at 1:15, so I'm going to finish up with a couple other questions before we get going. Oh, of course. Hey, everyone listening at lunchtime. I'm glad you can listen. I know it's 11 for you, I think, but might be worth putting a comment with your travel plan list. Oh, I can put it up there, and then crazy things will happen. So I don't want to jinx myself. But I do have a bunch of USA stuff for the rest of the year, so we have that. Nader 1, dual citizenships. Don't think it gets you out of taxes. Stuart, thank you very much for the super chat, my friend. Flights time, I try to save money as early flights can be cheaper than a mid-afternoon or evening flight, midweek than a weekend. Yes. The time of days you do fly out, but then you also have to think when you're flying out, for example, if I could get a cheap flight out of Indianapolis, I can't get there in time. I'm not going to leave my house at 3 o'clock in the morning to get that 6 a.m. flight. I'm going to spend a hotel there. So there's a lot of things that will influence your choices about what flight you take. So something to think about. Anyway, let's see. What should I say to people who think the USA is dangerous? Well, if you're a tourist, you're probably not going to go to the dangerous parts, to be honest. Here's my thing. Everywhere I've gone in the world, every town's got a bad part of town, it seems like. Right? Same thing in the US. I think the US people are more likely to help you if there's anything that goes wrong. And it's different stuff. Like in Europe, pickpocketing of tourists is like a normal thing. Pickpocketing doesn't happen in the US. You get mugged, but you don't get pickpocketed in the US. Europe, you get pickpocketed, the cops laugh at you. So don't tell me the US is unsafe just because whatever. There's things that happen all over. So there is that. Jennifer Benzie, good to see you on there. Thank you. Anyway, all right, I got a meeting. So I just wanted to hop on and say hi for about an hour and wish you all fantastic travels if you're getting to travel. If you're not getting to travel, don't worry. Travels will come back again. And I wish you all the best. Everybody have a great day. Thank you for hopping on this lunchtime chat. And we'll be back. Bye.